Hi, Owen. Thank you so much for your poetry this week. I'm going to dive right in and start with prompt one, gathering images. Um, First of all, I just wanted to say I think so many of the students in this course are struggling with asking questions about their own work, and I really appreciate your specificity. I really appreciate that you're taking the time to ask questions that are specific to your poem. So I just wanted to point that out. It really helps. So when you said I didn't really get this prompt, how would you recommend improving it? So essentially, the idea is to gather images, right? To be somewhere, to gather text, to gather images from that place, and then turn those notes into a poem. So right now you have the notes, but you don't have the poem. And I think that's where the disconnect happened with this prompt for you, which is totally fine. I mean, as you know, there's going to be 8 weeks, 7 weeks of prompts in this class, and some of them will work for some folks and some of them won't. Hopefully those other prompts will work for the folks that the first set of prompts didn't work for, right? That's the idea, to put out a whole um, diverse way of entering into the text and thinking about writing poetry. Um, so, of course, I am sorry to hear that this one didn't work for you, but moving forward, what I would do is I would take this text you wrote and I would use it as notes towards a poem. So, one way to do that, Owen, would be, for example, a group of kids going into the grocery store for party supplies smelled like weed slightly. So, what are the words in that first line of text that sort of stand out to you that you feel are the strongest or that sort of rise to the surface in terms of something that might make an interesting poem? For me, if I was going through this, I would say the word kids. I would say party supplies, that phrase, and I would say this entire phrase smelled like weed. So kids, party supplies, smelled like weed. Those are the three words and or phrases that I would shift into using in a poem. So I hope that helps. Prompt two. I know you think it's only the first verse that works well, but I think they both worked really well. I thought you did a great job tracing. I will say in the first verse, there's this like very original language that you're using. In the second verse, it feels a little bit more cliched, and I think that's what you're responding to. So the sun is falling. I'm sorry, the sun is failing. Um, Giant flame, glorious time. Those are sort of actually, the sun is failing is not a cliche at all. I thought it said the sun is falling. But giant flame and glorious time, those are two phrases that I think are used a lot, especially in poetry, especially in poetry of this tone. And so I would recommend revising those phrases to make them more original and more your own. So I hope those suggestions are helpful, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you once again so much, Owen, for your work.